Morning, kids. Our subject for today is English 2, Quarter 3, Week 6. Our topic is about identifying major points and key themes in a story. The objective for this topic is to talk about text, identifying major points and key themes in a story. Before we're going to start our discussion, let me give first recognition to the one who wrote this module from the Division of Parañaque. Thank you so much. Now, let's understand how do you find the theme in the story. Okay, and finding the theme in the story, you're going to ask yourself, what lesson did the main character in the story learn or failed to learn? Next, what is the moral of the story? Okay, what is the attitude or the characteristics that the writer of the story wants us to learn? Next, what lesson in the author trying to teach? Okay, what lesson? And which idea in the story can relate to everyday life? Now, there are stories that you can read and relate it to your own uh, everyday living. You can get an idea on how you're going to do things right in your everyday living. Okay, read and find out the theme of the story. Let's try this one. Cassie and her cookies. That's the title of the story. Cassie was having a wonderful time of summer camp. Her counselor was really nice, and she had made friends with all of these girls in the cabin. One day, a package arrived for Cassie. All the girls in her cabin watched as she opened it. It was a box of homemade chocolate chip cookies. Cassie's mother made the best chocolate chip cookies in the world. Cassie took one out of the box and was just about to take a bite when one of the other girls asked if she could have a cookie. Then all the girls were asking. Cassie counted the cookies in the box. There were exactly 12 of them. There were 10 girls in the cabin. If she gave a cookie to each girl, there would only be 2 left for herself. Cassie knew that if she shared with one girl, she would have to share with everyone. So she decided not to share at all. Cassie got to eat all the cookies herself, but from then on, the other girls hardly talked to her at all, and no one wanted to be her friends anymore. Okay. Okay. Based on the story that we have read, what important decisions did the characters made? A. Cassie decides to share her cookies with friends. B. Cassie share her cookies with street children. Or letter C. Cassie eats all the cookies with herself. The correct answer is Cassie eats all the cookies with herself. Okay, how did the characters grow or change in the story? A. Cassie become generous. B. Cassie become selfish. And C. Cassie become helpful. Okay. The answer is Cassie become selfish. Okay. Because she did not share her cookies. Next, number 3. What did the characters learn? A. The girls realized that they should not be friends with Cassie. B. Cassie is just only a user and not a true friend. Letter C. Nothing's changed in their attitude. Okay, based on what have happened in the story. Okay, what is your answer? That's great. The girls realized that they should not be friend with Cassie. Okay, because Cassie only thinks of herself. Okay, next, number 4. How did the character react to obstacles? A. The characters did not encounter problem. B. The characters in the story had a major quarrel. Or letter C. The characters in the story keep their friendship. The correct answer is letter B. Very good. The characters in the story had a major quarrel because of Cassie's not sharing her cookies. Last number, number 5. What could be possible theme of the story? A. The attitude towards relationship with friends. B. Selflessness. C. Generosity. The correct answer is, that's right, letter A. The attitude towards relationship with friends. Okay, next. Determine the theme of the following texts below. Then, write the theme that closely matches the character actions in the text. Okay, the first one is theme word bank. Sacrifice, don't judge a book by its cover. Loyalty, lose and grief. Honesty, never give up. Okay. Number 1, my best friend will be having a party Friday night, but I also have a basketball game. This is going to be a tough decision. If I do not go to the game, I will let my team down. What is the possible um, theme of these sentences? Okay, based from the theme World Bank, the correct answer is sacrifice. Okay, he has to decide whether to go with her team and play the game or to attend with his friend's birthday. Okay, number 2. The phone rang. She dropped the phone and tears began to drop onto her cheek. Her lips quivered as she pictured the scene that was described to her. No, she willed. Okay. The theme for this is loss and grief. Okay, based on the sentences, it is possible that there is bad that or there is an incident that happened and it results to losing someone. Okay. Next, number 3. Number 3, she sobbed for hours trying to think of a way out of having to tell her father she wrecked her new car. After stewing over it for quite some time, she called her father on his cell phone. Thank you, he said. The correct theme for this is honesty. Okay, honesty because even though she thinks that she had done something wrong, she's not afraid to tell what had happened to her father. Number 4, There was a rag old woman following behind me as I walked down each aisle. She had a strange look on her face as her missing teeth distorted her smile. I rushed to try to avoid her as I was and as I was little nervous about what she might do. Come to find out, I dropped some money and she was trying to return it to me. Okay, the theme for this is very good. Don't judge a book by its cover. Meaning to say, the appearance of a person doesn't give you a basis of what his or her attitude is. Okay, number 5, Ben knew his friend was about to receive a check for not being prepared for class. This would have been the third day in a row he would have to stand out. Ben gave pencil to Tim. Later, Ben received a check and had to stand out. Okay, the theme for this is very good. Never give up. Even though that Ben knew that Tim is so lazy in preparing or making his work for school, he never give up for Tim. Next, read the following passages and write the theme as shown in actions of the characters. Number 1, Jim was stacking boxes at work. There was a certain height he had to reach. He stretched his body but could not reach to place the final box at the top. Bill happened to see Jim struggling and came to his rescue, since he was a foot taller. So the theme for this passage is kindness, because even though Jim did not ask Bill for a help, when Bill saw Jim struggling, he eventually helped Jim. Okay, number 2. The girls were coloring when Mike wanted to join along. One girl moved the crayons closer to them. The other girl proceeded to take the other crayons boxes. Mike had no crayons to use. One girl remarked, "These crayons are ours. Find yours." Okay, the theme for this passage is giver versus greedy. Okay, because the girls knew that Mike had no crayons to use, but instead of giving Mike crayons or lending Mike their crayons, they did not do that. Instead, they get the crayons and tell Mike to find crayons for his own. Okay, next, number 3. Susie was waiting for Tina to arrive in the crowded lunchroom. She looked through the crowd to see if she could spot Tina from afar. Tina was standing in an area all by herself. She had a perplexed look on her face, as there were no other seats available. Thankfully, Susie saved her seat and all was well. So the theme for this passage is concern. Okay, because maybe Susie is a friend of Tina, and when she saw that there are other students going to the lunchroom and Tina is not yet there, so she saved Susie, Susie saved Tina a seat. Okay, and offered Tina the seat when she saw her. Okay, number 4. The 3-year-old peered down from the diving board and looked back as his mother behind him. At his mother behind him. His knees began to buckle as she took another step forward. Splash. The theme for this passage is being doubtful because he thinks that he can't do it. Okay, number 5. You can do it, shouted her father as she pushed Chloe and let go. She was going on her own, but suddenly fell. She cried, but said, "Again, Daddy." This time, she went farther, falling into the ditch. A few moments later, she was riding down the street, smiling from ear to ear. So the theme of this is perseverance. Even though he fell from the ditch and she was she fell from the ditch and she was hurt, she keeps on trying and trying and she made it. Okay. Now, for your evaluation, read the story and determine the theme. Here is the story. The title of the story is The New Girl. Sarah didn't play with Lila, the new girl in her classroom at recess. No one did. Lila had come to their school after winter break. She wore strange clothes and she spoke with an accent. Then one day, the teacher put Sarah and Lila together as partners on a class project. At first, Sarah was nervous about working with someone so different. But then they began to talk. She found out that Lila had a little brother just like she did. Not only that, but they also both loved to draw and they both collected seashells. Sarah invited Lila over after school to work on the project and see her shell collection. The girls worked well together and before she left, Sarah gave Lila one of her best shells to take home for the collection. Okay. The next day, Lila invited Sarah over dinner. The food was different than what Sarah was used to, but it was tasted really good. Lila's parents were nice too. The girls get an A on their project, but even better, they became good friends. Okay, that's the story. I will give you 10 minutes to answer, 10 seconds to answer each question. Number 1, what is the conflict in the story? Number 2, how do the character change? How do the character change? Number 3, what do the characters learn? What do the characters learn? Okay, number 4, what is the author wanted to convey from the story? Number 5, what is the theme of the story based on the story that you have heard? Okay. And for your let's create, your goal is you need to determine and write the theme of the story, the fox and the crow. And then you will act as a researcher. And your audience should be your grade 2 classmates and your teacher. Okay, you have a research work and you are assigned to be a researcher. You will write the theme or the lesson that you have learned or realized from the story you have read. Write it in 3 to 5 sentences. And observe capitalization and correct punctuation mark in writing your sentences about the fox and the crow. Okay, if you done doing let's evaluate and let's create, take a picture and send it to our messenger GC. Goodbye, children.